Hey, this is Coven. Today I'm going to be going over my track and a digi. It's one of my personal favorite tracks. It's not what I would consider my best work, but it's pretty good for at least what I do. I'll play a bit of it and then I'll start breaking down what I've done with it.
Do you remember that existence of God thing that I had so much trouble understanding? Well, guess what? I think I'm starting to grasp it now. Here's my theory. Maybe, just maybe, it's a concept that's similar to a zero in mathematics. In other words, it's a symbol that denies the absence of meaning. The meaning that's necessitated by the delineation of one system from another. In analog, that's God. In digital, it's zero.
Alright, so there's really not much going on here. What I have here first is Silent 1. This is the Reese space that I have. The dry, no effect sound is this. Just a standard Reese with some portamento, and then I have Silence inline distortion. And then I run it through Camel Crusher, which is pretty nice distortion. And then Fruity Fast distortion, this is also pretty good. And then an EQ, where I rolled off a tiny bit of low end and a lot of high end. You'll hear it's a lot more filtered sounding. And then a limiter, because one FL's EQ adds a bit to a volume, which isn't really great. And then I also use it for sidechaining the kick to the bass. So that's the bass. This is the drum pattern. I have just some 808s. This is recorded to tape, actually. It's a free sample from Gold Baby, I believe. I did some EQing, cut a tiny bit of low end out, and boosted some upper mid frequencies around 4K. And then I compressed it, just so it had more impact. Clap, kind of similar. It's EQ. Rolled off some low end, well, a lot of it actually, and boosted a tiny bit of high, and then I compressed it. Snare is on the same channel, so it almost has a bit of a Moombahton feel, but that's not really important. This is the gated saw. So here it's just a really detuned silent patch, just 8 voices, and the detuning is around almost 5, but not exactly. And it's just playing the chords. But I didn't really find that interesting, so I cut some low off and boosted some high to make it sound a bit grittier. Distorted it, and then added a gross beat. This is really the important part of the gated saw, because it's what's actually gating it. Gives it that kind of trancey feeling, and then I have some delay after that. And some reverb just to give it a lot of space. And then a limiter, just for sidechaining. And then this is a similar pattern. It's the same gated saw, but I have everything, I believe, just I took the top notes and copied them up and pasted them up with 1 octave, and the bottom notes and copied them and pasted them an octave below. And this is the string pattern. This I actually added like more notes to, just to give it more space. Then I also have the bass copied down an octave lower, or root notes, whatever. The strings on their own sound like this. But I didn't really find that very interesting, especially since it's just a default preset in FL, well, sample actually. So it's been used probably to death. So I distorted it. Since it's a lot grittier, I like it a lot. I don't know about you guys. And then I have like a sort of bandpass going on with a high and a low and some like mid boosting. And then just a limiter once again for side chaining, and to keep it from clipping because of the volume that FL's EQ adds. This is the pattern that plays in the beginning. It is the normal string, not really the normal string, the distorted string, and then a normal recording. Gets it nice and gritty. And then this is the snare roll that plays before the drum beat kicks in. It's just a normal, like, southern rap-ish pattern with the volume coming in, as you can see down here, and then it just kind of drops down with the pitch. Normally I would do this by going into the fine pitch, but I found this kind of easier for what I was doing at the time. This is the hat pattern, once again, southern rap influence. Didn't really do anything to the hat, it's not even linked to any channel in the mixer, but so it's pretty much standard southern rap. Hat pattern, a bit faster than your average trap song would be, but whatever. This is the normal string playing the same pattern as the other strings, so just fills things up. And then this is kind of a weird sound. This is actually the result of taking a really resonant, almost acid sounding super saw, distorting it again, adding reverb, and rolling out the low end at around 200 Hertz, and for side chaining, and then playing some big chords. Sounds really aggressive and punchy. And then this is just a shorter version of the intro string thing. It's just for the ending, so it just kind of rolls off easily. And then here is the sort of main event, if you will. It's the sample. This is a Tachikoma from Ghost in the Shell, and it's its theory on God.
Do you remember that existence of God thing that I had so much trouble understanding? Well, guess what? I think I'm starting to grasp it now.
So what I've done here is the dry sample sounds like this.
Do you remember that existence of God thing that I had so much trouble understanding?
So I ran it through some distortion.
Of God thing that I had so much trouble understanding?
And then some really long decay reverb.
Of God thing that I had so much trouble understanding? Well, guess what? I think I'm starting to grasp it now. What I'm getting getting at is this. The basis of our design and construction is digital, right?
And then this is the sort of effects track. It's not really any sort of effects, it's just like symbols for transitions and whatnot. Transitions. So just like a reversed hi-hat with some reverb on it, and then reverb and slight distortion, and I think the same is for this ride thing. And the crash as well, which I actually have time stretched just so it fades out even slower. And word of advice, if you want to like start with making witch house or southern rap or like that EDM trap sound or whatever, there's a kit that is going around. It's called the Lex Luger drum kit. Chances are, if you're watching this, you already have it, but if you don't, there's some nice 808s in it. If that's your thing, some chants. And as far as I know, these all come directly from Lex Luger, so you'll find some sounds that I've used before. So yeah, really nice kit, and I guess it comes with like a VST of some sort that I haven't really used yet. But yeah, and then there's like a separate kit that I don't think is really linked to him directly, but it's got some sounds that he uses a lot. So yeah, if you want to start making trap or witch house or C-punk even, that's a good place to start. So back to the actual song structure. So I've got 12 bars for the intro. I didn't really consciously choose 12 bars. I just wanted something that would work with the length of the vocal sample, but I didn't want the whole thing in the intro. I wanted to split it up across the track. As you can see, there's like this part
similar to a zero in mathematics,
where it sort of introduces the theory. And in this,
what I'm getting at is this. The basis of our design and construction is digital, right? So for the time being, regardless of how much data we accumulate, none of us will ever have a ghost. But for analog-based people like you, Mr. Bato, no matter how many digital components you add on through cyberization or prosthetics...
Yeah, this is just... And then there's the little 2-bar part.
Plus, because you have a ghost, you can even die. You're so lucky.
Yeah, so this is like a... Actually, I'll get to that later. So we get the 12-bar intro, and then it sort of has the little reverse cymbal impact thing into the strings and the like gated saw. And then it impacts in. The beat comes in as well as the respace. And then that goes on for 8 bars or so. And then we get the hi-hat, which kind of fills it in and gives it more of a groove. And then we've got a little 8-bar breakdown where we go back to the vocal. And then strip out the gated saw and the respace and the hi-hat for like 4 bars, but still. What I'm
getting at is this. The basis of our design and construction is digital, right? So for the time being, regardless of how much data we accumulate, none of us will ever have a ghost. But for analog-based people like you, Mr. Bato, no matter how many digital components you add on through cyberization or prosthetics, your ghost will never diminish.
So, yeah, just a little quick tip thing. Side chaining is really important for this kind of stuff. So we got the respace here, which the kick is side chained to, as well as the, I believe this is this is the saw, which must make this the distorted string. And then this, I believe, is the, what is this? The clean strings. And then here I got the really impact, aggressive, high resonance thing. The sidechaining, what it does is basically, if you don't know what sidechaining is, it's like when the volume of one channel increases, what it's sidechained to will have the volume decrease. And the options for that are kind of like a compressor. So you have your threshold, your ratio, attack release, gain, whatnot. There's a lot of compressors that support this. I just like using FL's limiter because it's a lot more visual, which helps a lot. So yeah, I'm not trying to make this a witch house guide or whatnot. I'm just going through the track. And then we come back to the main-ish thing with the reese and the gated saw. Except this time we introduce the clean strings. You can hear it filling up this emptiness that it almost had. But you didn't really notice it until, you know, it was filled up. And then we got a little 2-bar break.
Plus, because you have a ghost, you can even die. You're so lucky.
I really like that little thing there. It's kind of sinisterish. But yeah, it works. And then we get the snare roll again, which brings in to when we go back to with the beat and the reese and whatnot. But get the 4-note gated saw. Only for 8 bars though. That was a bit of a mistake. And then we've got the crash and the really aggressive acid thing. And then that just impacts.
Even die. You're so lucky.
And then for the outro, I basically just added the little 3-bar version of the intro chord. You can kind of hear it come in there. It's not too loud, but I just started it a bar early, just so it would flow a bit more. Yeah, so that's the structure of the track. It's not that complicated. Mixing I would go over, but all I really did is adjust volumes. I didn't do much EQing, aside from like low cuts and high boosting. Mastering, pretty much non-existent. I just plopped a limiter on the master track, which r/EDM production is going to yell at me for, but yeah, that's pretty much an a digi. For those who want to listen to the track and see if you can, I don't know if it's enlightened it for you or whatnot, I'll be putting a link to it in the description of this video. So yeah, thanks for watching.